Good afternoon, guys.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
Congratulations on this film. It is tremendous.
Oh,
Thank
thank
you
very much.
It is amazing, the breadth of the emotions, the fact that you guys, you go full on into the gang kind of warfare almost, but at the same time it's got so much heart. What was that like, first off, from your side of things, to actually get that to work? Because, I mean, obviously there's a lot to the story, but you've got a lot of work.
Yeah, I mean, especially for a debut story, I guess. Yeah, it was quite a challenge to balance the kind of the tenderness with the genre elements of the story. But that was when I first read the short story that it's based on. That's the thing that I loved about it, was that it was this sort of dark crime world. But then he you know, his relationship with his son had so much. You know, it's tragic, but it's beautiful and very moving. And you know, I liked that contrast, and I hadn't. You know, I like the idea of trying to tell a story where it's. You know, there's a duality to it, but it you know, and it was more of an editing thing, to be honest, you know, because how do you attempt to make it feel like tonally one thing, where, because Arm as a character, he behaves so differently with his family and the boy than when he's working for the Devers, and it dictated a certain you know, shooting style and things like that. So yeah, it was it wasn't easy, but it was a lot of fun as well.
So, in terms of you two working together, for his character, but also even just his relationship, really, with Arm especially, did you guys, was there anything that changed while you're filming it? Because I imagine it's one thing to have this character on paper, but did it change when you're actually filming?
I think things always, that's part of the process, isn't it?
Right.
Is that the story is an evolving, you know, it evolves from the short story to the script, and then on set, you know, the best days are when you discover things together, and you're in the moment with an actor, and you know, there were times where completely on the fly we would just change, you know, the whole direction of what a scene was, because it felt truthful to what we were doing in that moment. Mm-hmm. Those were the days that I found the most exciting.
Yeah, it definitely did change our relationships and, you know, character relationships as well. But that's fun, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, going in with a set mind on a scene and flipping it on a 90 degree and doing it in totally different ways. It's that to me is what I want to do and challenge myself. And you know, but you only do that with strong filmmakers and if you have a good relationship with them. So.
We had this idea that Dimpner, Barry's character, he sort of has imposter syndrome, that he's meant to be living up to his father, and he can't quite do that. So that kind of dictated a lot of the style of the character. You know, the fact that he's bleached his hair and he has quite an outgoing shell to try and hide the fact that he doesn't actually truly feel like he's
pretty animated, alright. You know, he's pretty showman type.
Right. Especially that scene with the beer bottle in the bar. I thought that really set a tone for kind of where he hoped to be, I guess.
Yeah, that's the, you know, it's all just a scare tactic, because he's not that vicious or he's not that brave. It's all to impress his uncle, and he knows he can get away with it. And you know, if there is repercussions to his actions, so he does these things out of, you know, knowing that he's going to have a security, but also to impress his uncles, and deep down he's just scared little boy.
What's his relationship in your mind like with Arm? Because there's moments where you could almost say they're brotherly, but at the same time his family has a weird sense of family anyway. So what did you imagine it as? I
seen it towards the end. I seen that it was brotherly. He genuinely doesn't want Arm to get hurt, or his family. You know, he does treat him. He does take him as also like an owner and a dog kind of relationship, that he'll just hustle him, like, you know. And I think there's more to it than that. I actually think he has a heart, and he does like Arm, and they are very fond of each other.
It would be interesting to see even I'd love to even see a bit before the events of the film to get more of that sense. It's fascinating. There's a lot of story there, especially the history of the family, too.
Yeah.
Do you guys ever imagine? Oh, imagine if we could go back and do something from before.
Oh, God forbid. No, but that was, we had a little bit of rehearsal time.
Right.
And sometimes it can be fun to not necessarily rehearse the scenes you're going to do, but to try and establish, improvise scenes and establish relationships or memories or kind of give a history to them that you can then draw from when you're actually shooting.
Yeah, that's nice.
What was the hardest scene to shoot for you guys? Like either individually or as a group or anything?
I think the scene in the car. It's a pretty emotional scene.
Yeah.
We were also chasing light and chasing everything like that, so we had a short stab at that. Yeah. But we, with good direction and with a good team around us, we kind of went in knowing what we had to do, but that was a tough scene. But yeah, that would be my toughest one.
We were we were spread pretty thin, and we were quite
28 days.
Wow, really? That's impressive.
And we didn't, the kind of smart thing to do is to kind of shoot it in a small localized area.
Right.
But we wanted the exteriors of Kilkee, the sort of seaside town, but then we had to shoot a lot of our interiors in Galway, which is a few hours away, and then the mountain ranges were another 2 hours away. So, it just meant that every day was touch and go, and we had to do a car chase in the film that we shot in one day.
That was one day.
One day we shot that.
Wow.
And so you had to be so economical. We literally didn't have the time to remount the camera, so it would be like, okay, how can we make this shot tell several beats of this chase,
right,
and to kind of be as economical with it as possible
and not lose all that light.
So that, and then the thing that I was most worried about probably going into it was actually the character of Jack, the 5-year-old son, because it's very easy to kind of get excited by the cars and the stunts and the fight scenes or anything like that, but actually making sure Jack felt authentic and real, I thought, for me as a director, was the biggest challenge. And
he was such a pro.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask about him because, like, what he brings to that character is visceral. Like, I feel like the viewer almost takes up a part of who that character is. So how do you work with someone so young to get something like that out of him?
We saw a lot of. We auditioned a lot of boys in the west of Ireland, and I used that as a sort of trial and error of how do I create the performance. And I worked a lot with the National Autistic Society and a group called GAP in the west of Ireland as well. So I spent a lot of time with parents and with young autistic children, just kind of hanging out with them and looking at how, and it became very clear, the advice we got was that because the character's so young and there's some quite distressing scenes in the film, that we'd have to just find a boy and try and create the performance with him. So it just became about we'd kind of have games, we'd never talk about anything intellectual, obviously. So it'd be like, how many things can you do at once? So can you do mental arithmetic while also counting how many bottles are on the table, or things like that. So you give him so many things to do that he can't, he's trying to do multiple things at once. That was kind of the sort of general basis of how we create the performance. And we could only have him on set for 5 hours a day, but sometimes he'd be in there's a scene in a diner which was like 7 pages long. So we were like, do we need stand-ins and doubles and stuff like that? But he was just so good and so focused. It was actually became a very straightforward part of the film.
Wow, that's great.
Thankfully.
And being at TIFF right now, what's it feel like getting kind of this, this space to debut this in? It's
a dream. I mean, we always were secretly hoping that
Toronto.
One day, we'd love to have the film here, and it's a real honour
It's a great
honestly.
city.
That's kind of a cliche thing
Amongst
to say.
great,
but, yeah.
great films as well. You know,
It's a great lineup this year.
great lineup. It's
Especially
unreal.
for the driven kind of drama that I think we're talking about here too.
Mhm.
So, you know, last question in terms of the film is, what do you guys hope that, you know, people walk away with after they've seen the film?
Enjoyed, you know, and just challenged a little as well. You know, I don't like people walking away from a movie to hand to them. This movie shouldn't be that. You know, you should walk away feeling a bit not totally satisfied. I feel.
But enough says.
hmm
I think for me, it's like, I hope it's more of, I just want to try, I guess I was just focusing on how do I communicate how I felt when I read the story, which was this, you know, this unexpected level of heart and emotion that I wasn't expecting from the story. That's what I hope people sort of take from the film as well. That'd be amazing.
Without giving anything away, I gotta say that final scene, like, it's very satisfying. The two last scenes.
Well,
really-
satisfying, I meant walk away, but like,
Yeah.
unsatisfied with not the film, but
Yeah,
Right.
it poses
like,
questions.
yeah,
Yeah, for sure. And you don't want everything wrapped up perfect.
No.
It's nice to have those questions.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, in terms of next work, what's up for you next? Do you have plans?
Yeah, I have some plans. I'm developing a crime thriller that's set within the backdrop of rally driving and motorsport.
Cool.
So that's kind of what I'm working on. And also, I really want to do a love story. That's the other thing.
A love story,
I really want to do
really?
a romance. Yeah, I think probably
Amazing.
just because Calm with Horses was so dark.
Right.
Maybe do a nice
A
sweet
palate
love story.
cleanser, yeah.
That's
yeah,
comedy, bro.
yeah.
Comedy
And then
cinema.
Eternals.
Yes, I have to ask. I saw your tweet. I love the fact that you tweeted Stan Lee's from years ago. So what's it feel like to be like...
You know, I tweet him. I only figured out as well 111 on the 4th at the 11th, and 3 ones together is ask for new beginnings. You know, and I just noticed that it was that 3 ones together.
Yeah.
It's great. I feel like a kid, you know, on Christmas, and isn't everyone's dream to be a superhero? So, you know, it's exciting, man.
He's a fascinating character, really. I mean, the Eternals has such a complex story.
And such a diverse cast as well, which is amazing, you know. So, it's gonna be a really, really special one.
Very cool. Well, good luck with it.
Thank you.
Thank you both
Yeah.
very much. I
Nice
really
to meet
appreciate
you.
it. You
Thank
too.
you.